Hello everyone, it's Mook in FTW, back with another episode of the RCT3 Coaster Challenge. And today we're tackling the mini suspended flying coaster. So before we had the regular suspended coaster, now we're having the suspended flying coaster. And just like the other one, this also has very little options in terms of track pieces. So the layout is going to be pretty simple. And I have a few design ideas that I'm going to use to try and make this a little bit more interesting. So as you can see, the track layout is pretty basic because there's no inversions, there's no crazy elements. All it has is pretty much turns, and as a special track piece, it has S-bends, and that's literally it. There's nothing else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tunnels to try and enhance the experience a little bit. So I have these tunnel pieces from a mod that I recently downloaded, and I'm going to try and make things a little bit more interesting. And at the same time, I also wanted to try and make the the color scheme a bit more interesting. So normally I would resort to maybe some basic colors, but now I wanted to use some colors that are a bit more out there. And I think the execution is okay. It's not great. I'm not 100% convinced on this, but I just wanted to do something a little bit more, a little bit different, to make sure that it does stand out a little bit. And now when I look at the color scheme, that orange and green, it definitely is, it stands out. It's not very, plain, if you will. So I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, it looks a bit like a carrot coaster, but, I'm just trying to experiment with different colors because, I'm a big fan of white supports and then let's say a red track or blue track. And I'm just trying to figure out what else works. And some color schemes might work better than the other. So for instance, the laydown roller coaster had black supports and pink track, which I actually thought looked really nice. This one, however, yeah, it's still okay. Again, I'm just trying to do things different to make sure not everything is exactly the same. So just that's basically the way I approach this roller coaster, because again, the roller coaster itself, the design is very limited. So you got to try and find other interesting things, around the scenery or the color scheme or the mods or anything like that. So. And I'm very curious about these tunnels. They're a bit low res, and they're still a bit blocky, if you will, in terms of the texture. But I think, especially with a flying roller coaster, it's going to be really nice. I mean, imagine if you're riding this in real life and you have all these tunnels. I think that the experience would be really cool. So we're slowly but surely going along, and we're actually almost done because again, this is a pretty basic design, not much we can do with it. I'm going to use Beastie's path mods to kind of simulate this kind of track that you're on, if you will, with that one bend. And of course, I'm also going to use some rings, which for a flying roller coaster is also a really cool idea, where you're kind of flying around, you're going through these rings. So I thought that was a pretty interesting idea. Just, you can see just I'm trying to find whatever way to kind of make the experience a little bit more interesting. So here we're placing these realistic station pieces. And for the queue, I'm going to actually use Vodin's Girders and Glass, which is a go-to scenery pack of mine. And I'm going to use this to kind of cover the queue. So the guests are kind of protected from the shade, if you will. That's kind of the idea. And it's just, again, to add a bit more scenery. So I'm going to add the color scheme to the cars, and then of course the catwalk for the chain lift to kind of finish it off nicely. And then I'm also going to use some fencing here for this little area with the Beastie's Path mod. Again, just plopping down things here and there to try and make it just a little bit more interesting. And last but not least, I'm going to add some trees. So I'm going to add some trees here in the kind of the beginning area, if you will. To make sure that when I save this ride and I, with the scenery, it just incorporates the trees that are kind of right next to the roller coaster. Of course, I'm going to cover it with Beastie's Path mods, just again for a little bit more scenery, for a little bit more detail. And that's pretty much it. So that is the ride. And now we're just going to plant some random trees around the ride, so it's not too barren, if you will. And that's it for the mini suspended flying coaster. Again, it's not the most interesting episode because again, it's not the most interesting roller coaster. So I just try to, despite the basic layout, try to do a little bit here and there that makes it a little bit more interesting, like that, like the tunnels and everything. So I'm actually curious what this looks like in the POV. But for now, just like having a nice gander at the roller coaster from the outside as we're looking at it. And I do like the layout, it's got some decent turns and a few like hills or whatever, bunny hops, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I think it doesn't look too bad. So let's go ahead and ride this. Let's see what it's like to ride this roller coaster. I think it's gonna look pretty awesome. That photo section right there. I think that's actually kind of cool. At the end, you get a photo section. You can get your photo if you ride this. Let me go ahead and save this real quick. And let's close it, test, and here we go. Let's go to the ride. Okay, here we go. So we're going up the chain lift. Nice. The catwalk is in a good height. And here we go. We're gonna drop down, turn, and there we go. And again, just like the other coaster types, I wasn't able to do steep drops, so it just gotta be these gentle drops, if you will. Yeah, it's got decent pacing. Nice turn here. Here we go. First tunnel. Oh, that does look kind of trippy. Again, it's a shame it's a bit low res or low texture, if you will, the tunnels, but still it's pretty cool. Look at this. Nice. Into another tunnel. The final one. We get to this part with the path mods and into our photo section, and bam, back to the track. That's not too bad. It was pretty simple, but you know, a decent roller coaster. You can have some fun with this. And that's it for the mini suspended flying coaster. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have yourself a wonderful day.